My beautiful bitches, it's me, Fiona St. James, and welcome to another episode of Fiona's Coffee Talks. And as always, I like to start off every day with a fresh, hot, black cup of coffee. Hold the cream! I'd love to. And of course, I think of my favorite quote of the century by Oscar Wilde, which says, "Life is too important to be taken seriously, so lighten up, folks." So today's topic is, drum roll please, Life of a Dancer Part 6, yay! Excuse me. Okay, so hopefully you saw part 5. I spoke about Hunter College, and that was really what solidified my being a dancer. Like, I was a dance major, and I was like, this is what I want to do. But of course, then what happens is when you graduate college, there's that age-old question, what are you going to do with your life? And I was still living at home, and I knew that I needed to move out. So, and I had just seen an astrologer who had said to me, "Oh, you're gonna move out. You're gonna change your name. What's wrong with your name?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And it just so happened that the same time that I graduated college, that May, and then the summer went by. That's when I started doing drag, and then it was September, and I knew I had to get out. So, and if you remember, so I was 22 at the time. 2 years before that was when I had answered the ad to do massage, the escort. It was an escort agency, and I had always thought everyone should do everything once. So, and I remember when I did it that one time, I thought, okay, well, now I could say I've done it. So, but then because I needed money, I went back to the back of the back page of the Village Voice, and there was another ad. So I answered that and started working for this massage parlor. Anyway, and then you guys know the story from there. So it just coincided that I started doing drag, and I started uh, doing massage, and I immediately moved out. So now I've graduated college. So now what am I going to do? So, and I still wanted to make it as a dancer. So I was I was like going on auditions, and then at that point I had met my best friend, Hey Droopy, and he was a choreographer. So he was hiring me to do industrial. So I was working as a dancer, and then, little parts here and there, and as I said, going on auditions. And, the one good thing about it was that at least doing drag at that point, which I was doing it full time when I first started, a lot. I wasn't just lip syncing. I would always somehow, I would always choreograph it, stage it. So kind of felt like I at least was dancing that way. And then doing these industrials and other little gigs here and there. But, I, and auditioning, but, I never did necessarily get that. I never did get my equity card, which was always what I wanted to get. And I was so busy doing all three things that I guess not that I put the dancing in the background, because it was definitely there, but there's something to be said, if you, about, they say don't put all your eggs in one basket, and I agree with that. But then in hindsight, maybe if I was just focusing on that and not doing the other things, maybe I would have gotten my equity card, and maybe that is what I would have done. But then, but woulda, shoulda, could have. I've always spoken about the fact that because I've always done multiple things simultaneously, that's why I've had longevity in all of them, and I've not gotten bored with it. Because I think that can happen sometimes, and I think even in the performing world, because if you're, just trying to be a dancer and going on auditions, and God knows for every part you get, there's 100 that you didn't get. So it definitely, having the balance of doing all of it, it all fed off one another. It kept everything interesting, and then I never felt like I wasn't being successful. So that was that. So, I did that all throughout my 20s, and I still, even at that point, even though I was doing drag and I was, doing my massage clients, you still, if you ask me what do you do for a living, my answer was still, I'm a dancer. That was always what I identified as. So even once I graduated college, and for the years to follow, pretty much all throughout my 20s, uh, and then I'll tell you what happens next in the next episode. But yeah, so I identified as that. And even if that wasn't the only thing I was doing, somehow I was able to take my dancing skills and put it in the other things that I was doing. Probably like even in like the massage world, you have got your little moves and you're being all seductive and all. And definitely like in the drag world, it helped. And I ended up having backup dancers, choreographer, all that good stuff. So yes, all throughout my 20s, that's definitely how I identified. So, okay, I'm going to make this one short. It's amazing, but lately I've been trying to keep them at like 5, 6 minutes because I know, honey, I can talk a bit much. So, trying to be a little more concise. All right, don't forget thumbs up, subscribe if you have not. You can read all about this in my book that's behind me, The Life and Crimes of Fiona St. James, which you can get on the website that has the same name, or FionaSt.James.com. The Saint is not spelled out. ST, no period after the T, and then that way I could send you an autographed copy that will be personalized and all that good stuff. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for being with me. Until the next time, stay safe. Love you.